Welcome, welcome everybody. How are you doing today? I hope all is well. And today I want to speak a little bit about inquiry. Why do we need sensation-based inquiry for awakening and freedom? What brings us into this life are unfinished, unmet tendencies of the past, together with our desire for truth and freedom. And these tendencies, these unmet, unfinished tendencies, they have their own momentum. And that momentum moves the tendencies from one incarnation to another. You know, that's Papaji used to say, a bullet kills once, but a tendency, a vasana, kills many times because it moves from incarnation to incarnation. So that past has its own momentum, and that's what takes our attention, right? So that is why, even though presence, our true nature, is already here, that is why in a moment we don't notice that or we don't know that. So what we need for awakening and for freedom, because awakening really is, happens when there's enough trust, when there's trust in our true nature. So what we need for awakening and freedom is this sensation-based inquiry that creates a different momentum, right? It creates the momentum for presence. So what is inquiry really, Because when I say inquiry, I mean to change the direction of your looking. So instead of looking out into what arises, we change the direction and we look within and we notice that movement away from presence, and we are able to directly meet that movement in a moment, which is what brings us back here. But it also creates the new momentum, right? It's a counter movement, it's a counter momentum to that momentum of the unresolved past. So why, sensation-based inquiry, right? Why sensation-based? Because when I teach the inquiry process, it's very much sensation-based, because sensation is the direct language that you can communicate through with your nervous system and with certain parts of your brain, like the older, lower parts of the brain, like the reptilian brain, right? That's oftentimes where past shows up when it arises, right? When it arises, it shows up in your physiology. It looks very real. It looks like something that we really need to follow, right? So when we practice a sensation-based inquiry, we very directly communicate with our nervous system. We very directly communicate with these lower parts of our brain. And that is why, that is how we are addressing the unresolved tendencies of the past. And I speak a lot about, in the programs, I speak a lot about the nervous system and the brain, and about the capacity of the nervous system to be here and how important that is for awakening and for freedom. So when past arises, it automatically, almost out of habit, takes our attention, right? It looks very real. We believe it, so we think there's something that needs to happen, and we follow that, which reenacts the past and only makes it stronger, right? Another way of dealing with the arising past is, to try to suppress it, right? Which, of course, it doesn't work and makes it stronger also. But there is another way, and that is what, what I teach when we do inquiry, which is we can meet the arising past as it arises here. And in that moment of meeting, you see, that's a different kind of attention, right? It's a different kind of attention. This is the counter momentum, we have to stop that momentum, right? The counter momentum to the momentum of the past is inquiry and meeting the past as it arises. Because in that moment of meeting, that's the end of the past. That's the end of the past in the moment. So this summer I will be teaching a 5-week inquiry program for newer students. And when I say newer, I mean students that have not learned the sensation-based inquiry yet. However, I want to say anybody can come, right? If you want to refresh your inquiry skills, if you want to, learn it again, please come. We will have 3 meetings, live meetings on teleconference, and 2 pre-recorded videos. And you will receive support through partner inquiry and through emails with notes and recordings. And of course, you will have time to ask questions. And of course, we will be practicing it together. So sensation-based inquiry is a very powerful process because it stops the past right here, right? And it also creates the momentum for presence. And, that's ultimately what it takes for awakening, right? Is enough trust in our true nature. So, inquiry, very, very necessary for awakening and freedom. So I'm looking forward to our little program together, and I hope to see you there.